Every person represented on this table here today is a member of the Financial Services Oversight Commission, the one that we established in the Dodd-Frank legislation is one of the major points of this bill to try and anticipate systemic problems, chaired by the Treasury. And I realize you're not the Secretary of the Treasury, Ms. Caldwell, but nonetheless you're here. And I've raised it several times here. Again, but the question of why we haven't been able to come up with some answers, given your regulatory authority you have, and again, there may be contractual issues that limit even regulators' capacity to be able to implement some of these very ideas that you seem to agree on would make some sense, single point of contact, various other suggestions have been made. What is the FSOC doing? I mean, it's the law of the land now. Are you people meeting? It seems to me this was a classic case. We didn't anticipate this one, but here we have, by all of your admitting, we have a potentially a systemically risky problem that can put our economy once again in a tailspin. and the issue is, why aren't you meeting on this thing? Why isn't this FSOC, why am I not reading about this commission that we formed specifically for a purpose like this, getting together and doing anything about this? What's going on?
I would just say, in our last FSOC meeting, we did have a discussion in the private session of the foreclosure issue, and then there was a presentation by Assistant Secretary Barr in the public session on the state of play. And we have a number of efforts underway. So it is certainly something that has been taken up by the Council. But I think with the thought that we need to complete the work that's underway, which is due to be completed within the next month in the institutions and then brought back to the Council at its January meeting. So it is certainly something that has been taken.
Well, John, did you talk about, for instance, Sheila Bair made some recommendations, Dan's made some suggestions. Were those talked about in that meeting? These ideas, are we hearing them for the first time here today?
Well, they are. I don't think that that we are hearing ideas for the first time, but I think I would characterize the discussions as being at a more general, kind of systemic level, at least in that first discussion that we held. Once we have details of the nature of the problems, I think we'll move on to solutions.
I apologize. I have two of my colleagues have a question. But just I'm saying, also I realized that 5 of the members of the 10 members are sitting at this table, and again I've raised this in the past at the hearings. If I could have conjured up a fact situation, I didn't think we'd see one this quickly, quite candidly, when the law was signed a few weeks ago, that I'd be sitting here with a bunch of witnesses talking about a systemic problem, and yet I don't hear much out of this very entity we created in that bill to exactly provide the kind of answers that Jim Bunning has raised. And again, I don't expect miracles out of it. Merely the fact you all meet doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have an answer to a very complex problem. But good Lord, I'd expect something coming out of this operation, other than what presently is the case. What better case could you have than this one to demonstrate the value of having a commission like this?